Alright, this is exercise video number 30, and for my exercise today, I just ran 1 mile outside with a pace of 8 minutes and 30 seconds. And to relate this exercise to what we're learning right now in exercise phys, whenever I started picking up pace, going from walking to running, I needed oxygen delivery to my tissues, and I also needed to get hydrogen and carbon dioxide out of my tissues as well, because that is what causes fatigue. And also the lactate and hydrogen from pyruvate being converted into lactate, and then the hydrogen being donated from NADH. And so in order to allow for all that to happen, we have buffer systems. So the main one is the sodium bicarbonate buffer system. And so whenever I breathe in, that oxygen is picked up by my blood whenever the right ventricle sends blood to the lungs through the pulmonary artery, and picks up oxygen and then enters back through the left atrium via the pulmonary vein, and then down into the left ventricle, and then up into the aorta and the arteries and then arterioles, and then in the capillary bed is whenever everything is exchanged. And so that oxygen gets kicked off of hemoglobin into my tissue. And so at the tissue, we've got carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is produced whenever pyruvate is converted into acetyl-CoA, and so that carbon dioxide goes into my bloodstream onto my red blood cell, and then is dissolved into water, and then via carbonic anhydrase we form carbonic acid, and then carbonic acid is broken down into bicarbonate and hydrogen goes on to hemoglobin and kicks oxygen off into the muscle, and then that bicarbonate combines with hydrogen again to form carbonic acid. And carbonic acid, whenever it is formed, it increases the pH in my bloodstream. And whenever that hydrogen is kicked out of my muscle as well, that increases the pH in my muscle, because that hydrogen is being consumed by carbonic acid. And that carbonic acid goes through venules and then veins, and then eventually the superior and inferior vena cava, and into the right atrium, right ventricle. And then once it reaches the lungs from the pulmonary artery, we break down that carbonic acid into CO2 and H2O, and then eventually I would breathe it out. And so I was constantly doing that while I was on that run, just breathing in and breathing out, focusing more on hyperventilation in order to get more carbon dioxide out of my body in order to stabilize my pH.